you very much, Dick, to be part of this panel session this morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Top Sector ICT is part of the innovation policy of the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And Top Sector ICT is one of the 10 top sectors. And what we aim at, we stimulate, we organize ecosystems around digital technologies, such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and future information communication network infrastructures. And we do that aiming at research and innovation programs on these different topics.
Well, thanks for that, Frits. And also thank you for sponsoring the Dutch Pavilion and the program. We appreciate that highly.
Yeah, so that I didn't mention that, but Dick, indeed, internationalization is also a very important activity for us as Top Sector ICT. So we are really glad to participate here in the Mobile World Congress and to be sponsor also of the Dutch Pavilion.
Exactly. And so, Jos, without you, Frits would not be doing what he is doing. As a member of the top team ICT, you have been there for a long time. And facilitating the top sector, facilitating this whole program. But let's talk about the digital economy. So what do you view as the primary strategic objectives, the main focus of the digital economy of the Netherlands?
We only have half an hour, I think. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We take time. This is an important topic.
Well, good to be here and to present that strategy that was formulated by the minister in last November, for a resilient, innovative and sustainable economy, digital economy in 2030. And there are goals and there's an action plan that is being developed. And there are 5 pillars. The first one is the SMEs, digitalization of SMEs. There's a lot to gain still there. So that's the first pillar. The second is, of course, the labor force, more technical, the human capital initiative. So human capital is very important, and also innovation. So that's where we meet Frits and the top team. The third is the rules and regulations. There's a lot of new, all starting with DMA, DGA in Brussels, so new regulation is very important. So as the Netherlands, we play a front-runner role there to have our ideas transmitted to European regulations. The fourth is our digital infrastructure. That's high standard, and to keep it that way. And for instance, for future services, network services initiative by TNO, that's very important to have this and to keep this position. And the last one is cybersecurity for our companies, our SMEs, etc., to have a basic level of security for everybody.
Taking that into account, how important do you regard connectivity and sustainability for a growing digital economy in the Netherlands?
Well, connectivity is crucial. It all starts with connectivity, and so that everybody has access to the internet and can work in a proper way. And we try to safeguard that position. And sustainability is more and more high on the agenda. If you look at data centers, because a lot of energy is consumed by the digital society. But it's also the other way around. So digital can also help our energy transition to make it more sustainable and to have smart solutions for the energy transition.
We can be proud of the Netherlands because in a recent report which came out of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, there was also the European ranking part of the success of the Netherlands. So where are we currently? Could you elaborate somewhat on that?
Well, our goal is to remain a front runner. And in infrastructure, we're number one, but also, like I mentioned, for SMEs, there's still a lot to gain. So that's why we have these test laboratories, innovative test laboratories, and also to one sector to help other sectors to digitalize in the digitalization. So there's a lot there to do.
Thanks for that, Jos. So, Frits, let's...
Maybe I can
Go
add
ahead.
also on
Sure,
that.
go ahead.
So the so-called European DESI index, which stands for Digital Economy and Society Index, I think the Netherlands ranks at the third position in Europe. And I think in the Netherlands we really have a good position to be one of the front runners in the European setting. And it has to do, I think, with a solid knowledge base, and that's also what we really strive for as Top Sector ICT, together with the Ministry of Economic Affairs. But also, I think we have a very excellent ICT infrastructure, and next to that, we are very much internationally oriented, and it makes us very well situated to remain. But we really have to do a lot of work on that part, of course, but to remain on that position.
Now, one of the methodologies that you're using at the Top Sector ICT and the Ministry of Economical Affairs is called MTIB. Could you talk a little bit about that and also explain why that might be the reason that we are in the front runner group? You know, maybe some Scandinavian countries ahead of us, but then we are there, maybe on third place. Has MTIB to do with that, and what is it?
Yeah, so that's a lot of technical stuff. I will not go into detail because that will be boring, I'm afraid, for a lot of you. But more generally speaking, because we are part of the innovation policy of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, we have a lot of different subsidy instruments that we can make use of and that we can offer to the different stakeholders for Top Sector ICT. So that is a kind of a range from fundamental and practice-based research to more SME kind of instruments like innovation vouchers, network activities, but also what we do here right now with internationalization to sponsor different events in a European or more international setting and make it possible also for our network, for our ecosystem to join and to participate in these kinds of settings. And that's what we find very important. And the mission-driven innovation policy, the MTIB, a difficult abbreviation.
That's why I'm telling it, because people need to recognize that
and
know what's behind it.
Yeah, and maybe I can make it a little bit more practical to give this kind of example. So the aim in the end is to develop knowledge and innovation, basically to further develop products and solutions. And so that has both an economic aspect as well as a societal aspect. And that are, I think, two sides of the same coin, and society and economy benefit can go hand in hand. So think, for instance, about artificial intelligence and health. So AI plays a major role in early diagnosis, for example, of diseases, and at the same time it plays an important role also with pattern recognition in personalized treatments and personalized medicine. And the more nowadays with the recent advancements on DNA sequencing and so on and so forth. So that's an example or an illustration of the two sides of the coin of economic benefit and societal benefit of this innovation policy.
One more question, Frits. Do you also, I won't let you go, do you also see a similar methodology in neighboring countries in Europe?
We see different kinds of good practices, but the way we have organized it in the Netherlands is rather unique, I think, and I think we can be really proud on that. And that's also next to the illustration of the AI, the Dutch AI Coalition as an ecosystem. We also try to develop that together with TNO and the other different partners from the Netherlands around the future information communication technologies. But also, for instance, around cybersecurity, what also Jos mentioned about. We recently, together with the other top sectors in the Netherlands and the ministry, and Decipher as a national network on research innovation on cybersecurity, we developed Cybersecurity for NL, a large-scale research innovation program. We have 7 specific themes, ranging from supply chain issues around security, security by design, but also around skills and awareness around security issues.
Well, through the PPS methods and creating platforms, working closely together, looking from outside inside, and having taking initiatives in Europe as well to have our proper ideas translated into Europe. And Netherlands is a small country but important in digital, so we have a position in Europe.
And we keep the connections very short, so if you want to speak to somebody, just call them up, or her.
That's it. We know each other.
Exactly. We know each other. We know where to find each other, and then deal with the situation. That would be the pragmatic attitude.
Exactly.
Okay, Frits, back to you. So here we are at the Mobile World Congress 2023. Just started, but there's so much to see. 85,000 people maybe. What are you looking at for the coming week? What are your main objectives for this week?
Who brought the question? I think maybe first to start with, I think that the Mobile World Congress represents a great platform to exchange ideas and ambitions, and to meet and greet with other ICT stakeholders here together, both at the Dutch Pavilion specifically, but also earlier this morning we were at 4 years from now, where the startups had different booths, which was rather interesting with the new ideas that they have and potential also to scale up. So I think it's very important to enable actually this meeting with each other, and I hope also with all of us to meet you the coming days, and that we will have a lot of new inspirations and ideas coming out from this, and possibly new collaborations to continue also in the Netherlands.
Now we'll do that, and we'll take Paul and Marcel van der Griend of Capgemini and talk about some more detailed items. All in all, it does seem like we cannot do it alone, gentlemen. We do need to cooperate, need to collaborate inside of the Netherlands, but also internationally. And you mentioned geopolitical obstacles. They are there. We recognize them. Cybersecurity, looking at the Asian part of the world. But is it true that the Netherlands, both politically as well as economically, is open to also learn from, let's say, countries which are less friendly in the difficult political and geopolitical situation in this world?
Of course we learn, but still we have to safeguard our own values, so that's crucial at this moment. And we live in a time, like I mentioned, difficult times, and strategic autonomy is also very important. And typically for the Dutch is that we try to safeguard at the same time our open character of our economy. So that's the challenge, to working closely together and to stay open.
Absolutely. And I think the Netherlands is differentiating in that aspect. We are not stubborn, we're not very strict in that, but we adapt ourselves. And I think Darwin might be mentioned as an example of survival. And sometimes you do need to think that way. Not just ahead and opportunities, but also how to survive in this world. Gentlemen, may I thank you very much for your time, for your wisdom. I think the people learned a lot, and we'll use the material to also educate some people back in the Netherlands. So thanks a lot. I wish both of you a great week. Thanks for the support for making this happen, the Netherlands Pavilion and all of the people. Without the two of you, this would not have been possible. So can I ask for a big applause for Frits Grotehuis and Jos de Groot, please?